So, Lynchy, the summer's nearly over. Know that we had much of a summer right enough, but a couple of days' time, the boys will be back on the ice. You looking forward to getting back to business?
Yeah, I think everybody is. Everybody likes to get their little break in the summertime, but I think everybody starts getting itchy to get back on the ice. When you start getting to sort of maybe early August or something like that. So yeah, the guys I've been speaking to, and I've spoken to most. I think everybody's really keen to get going.
So, before we go in and talk about like the season coming up, Lynchy, we'll just look back on last season. It was a fairly successful season. We won two trophies out of five. Could have been better. Could have been a lot worse. But now you've had time to kind of summarise it and look back at it over the summer. What was your views on it all?
I think looking back on it, we can be pretty proud of our accomplishments. I think the only sour taste in our mouths is we didn't achieve everything we set out to do. But we won the Northern Cup, we won the playoffs, we came second in the league, which, like we say, is not where we wanted to be at the end of the season, but there's certainly no disgrace in that. And we made the Scottish Cup final. Okay, we didn't give a very good account of ourselves in that final. But I think all in all, we've got to look back on that and say that was a pretty successful season. To win two tournaments and come runners up in another two, like I say, maybe not necessarily where we wanted to be or how we wanted it all to finish, but I think we can look back at it and say there was success throughout the course of last season, which we should all be pretty proud of.
And that just touching on that playoff weekend, that was a special weekend. The guys obviously, they stepped up and produced two great performances, and I think just it was special, obviously being at Murrayfield as well, and the final, especially the majority of our fans there. How good was that just to be behind the bench and
Was a really good weekend, well organised by SIH, well organised by the staff of Murrayfield. The hockey on the ice I thought, was a really, really good standard. Starting off with the Kestrels game against Aberdeen in the first semi-final, I don't think anybody expected the Kestrels to win that game, but they played great. We had a really, really tough semi-final on the Saturday night against Paisley, where we had to work our arses off to get the win that we needed. And then the final itself was another great game of hockey. If you think back to that final, we, in my opinion, totally dominated the first period. Kestrels came out like a different team in the second period, and then the third period was all to play for. And I thought it was a great weekend of hockey, and I thought it was a great advert for Scottish ice hockey, to be honest.
so after the season, it was only a few weeks, and we announced that you were returning for your third season in charge. Was that always the plan? Was it, to come back and, some unfinished business?
Yeah. You know what? I mean, Eastie, I've made no secret in the last sort of couple of years or so how much I enjoy doing this job, and how much I wanted this job, for a long, long time, and things like that. So I think as long as the management wanted me back, I was always going to be back for a third year. It's a job I love doing, and I don't, in all honesty, see myself doing it anywhere else. So yeah, it was a pretty straightforward conversation between Scott, Alex, and myself. In fact, in all honesty, I don't think there was a conversation. I think it was just right, let's get planning for next year. Yeah, okay, right, let's start now. It was kind of as simple as that. So yeah, it's a great place to coach. It's great standing on the bench when there's 13, 14, 1,500 fans in the building, and we've got a great bunch of guys in the dressing room that make it a fun place to be around as well. So yeah, easy decision to make.
And talking about the guys in the dressing room, right away, you got to business and you signed that core back of the team. How important is that, having that continuity and bringing these guys back? I think I was looking at the day, I think there's 18 maybe returned for last season, and, bringing the guys and guys
It's
like
important.
Gary and Chad and that, that you need.
It's important. I don't think making wholesale changes every year is going to give you a great start to success. But more importantly, Eastie, I believe in these guys. I've signed them all. I've signed them all knowing what they're capable of doing, and I believe that we can get that over that final hurdle to win this league championship that's just eluded us ever so slightly the last couple of seasons. Like I say, the fact that we won the playoffs, the fact that we won the Northern League and had a had a fairly successful season last year proves that this group are to be believed in. So I didn't feel the need to go out and make too many changes. It was more a case this summer, tinkering with things a little bit and trying to bring in an extra two or three players, bring in a little bit of quality and bringing in a little bit more depth and things like that to give us that chance to be successful.
We'll just move on to obviously the new guys. So there was six. Obviously, the news that just came out at the start of the week there. Ross Conley wouldn't be joining us. What can you tell us about that?
Quite simply, Ross got an offer from a team in a higher league than us in a higher level, and he wanted to take it. It's as simple as that, and I don't hold it against him. He's Every player should be wanting to play at the highest level they possibly can. And Ross has got an opportunity now to go up a level into a league where he wants to play and where he wants to be. And what he said to me on the phone when he'd made his decision that he wasn't going to be coming to Edinburgh, he says that there might not be another opportunity for him to at this level that he's going to be playing at. So you know what? Wish him all the best. I said to him, if it doesn't work out, you know where I am. You've got my phone number. Give me a call. But good luck, and I hope it works out for you. There's no point shaking your fist in the air or complaining to this, that, or the other that they stole my player. Wish the guy the best of luck, and I hope it works out for him. And if it doesn't, he knows where he can find us.
So we've got five new faces on the roster. We'll just go through them one by one, the way that we did announce them, and maybe you can give the Caps fans just a wee insight to what you're hoping these guys bring to the team. So we'll start with the first one that we announced was Rehards Grigors. Rehards, the Caps fans from the olden days will remember Rehards. I think he
The
played.
olden days, it wasn't that long ago, was
Well,
it?
yeah, well, it is compared to now. But I think 2016 to 2018. I think it was round about then anyway. But and then obviously Rehards was at Whitley last year. But what are you expecting for him?
I've wanted to sign him since I first took this job on because I knew he lived relatively locally and I knew he was an ex-Caps player and things like that. Things just never seem to work out previously in the past. So he actually, we spoke very early in the summer. Well, it wasn't even the summer; it was pretty much the end of the season. He kind of intimated the travelling to Whitley Bay was maybe starting to get a little bit too much for him. It's a bit of a trek for him week in, week out. And when we had the opportunity to bring him, I don't know if you would say home. I don't know if you would say Edinburgh is home for him, but when we got the opportunity to bring him here, it didn't take a lot of thought. It didn't take it didn't need a meeting with all the owners of the teams and things. It was just a case of we've got a chance to bring this guy in. Let's do it, and we did. We know everybody knows what he's going to bring to the team. He's going to make our defensive group better the minute he steps on the ice. He can provide a little bit of offense. He can stand up and be counted as well when need be. He can throw the body. He's been known to drop the gloves a little bit in his younger days, maybe not so much now, but I think we're going to get a very good defenseman that is definitely going to make us a better team, and it's going to give us that little bit better chance of achieving our goal this year by having him in our lineup.
So the next one that we announced, the new guys, was forward Adam Robinson. Adam was also at Whitley last season. Tell us a wee bit about him.
So Adam's really good friends with Scott Geddes. Adam's actually another player that I've spoken to the last two summers. It didn't just come out of the blue this year, and we've always kind of kept in touch and spoken to each other when we run into each other in ice rinks and things like that. And at the end of the season, he kind of got in touch with us, and the first thing he said was he was blown away when he came up here to play the game against us with Whitley Bay. He couldn't believe the amount of people, the fans that were in the building and things like that. And he basically just said, "I'd like to be a part of it." So, like I say, I'd spoken to Adam the last couple of summers, but we could never really make it work because I need him to be available for not necessarily every training session living in Northern Ireland, but I needed him to be involved in a percentage of training sessions. And his job's kind of changed a little bit now where he can work from home. So what Adam's going to do maybe every second week, hopefully every week if he can, but at least every second week, is he's going to fly over here on a Thursday night. He's going to probably stay the weekend at Scott Geddes' house because let's say they're pretty good mates, and he can work from home on the Friday. So he's not having to take time off work or anything. He can work from home. All he needs is an internet connection. He play with us at the weekend and go home again on Sunday night. So it kind of fell into place a little bit better for us this year. Like I say, I would have happily brought Adam in last season and the season before, but we just couldn't find a way to make it work with training sort of thing. But once we found out we can do that this year, it was all good. And we'll see him in a couple of weeks' time.
So the next guy was big Chris Phillips. Chris was a Dundee Tiger last year. I think he played with the Pirates the season before when we first came back. What can you tell us about big Chris?
Billy's a player I've known for years, and I know he played a few games with the Caps in the Elite League a few years ago as well. So he's a bit of a familiar face to some of the fans
Back in the old days.
back in the olden days. Don't tell him that because he back in those olden days that you keep referring to. Yeah. So yeah, again, Philly just kind of called me. He said he wasn't going to be a part of the new setup in Dundee. He was looking for somewhere to play. It's no secret we could do with a couple of forwards that are 6 foot plus. You know, we've got the cast of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and up front for us some nights. You know, we've got a kind of a small forward group. So when it got the opportunity to bring in a bigger body, somebody that can use their body to protect the puck, you know, stand in front of the net, things like that, it just made sense to bring Chris in. It brings a little sort of variation in our forward group because, like I say, we've got a lot of guys that are maybe 5'10" or smaller. I think Chris is probably 6'1", maybe 6'2". It just gives us a little sort of different dimension, so it made sense to bring Chris in.
So Cameron Wilkie, he was the next one that we announced. He's a former GB under-16 internationalist.
Yeah, known Cammy since he was about 7, maybe. Cammy was one of the kids that I kind of took his hand and helped him on the ice for his first learning to play practice at Kirkcaldy. Those were back in the olden days too. Cammy's got a lot of skill. Cammy is a skillful defenseman, very good skater, good with the puck, has a good shot. Maybe lost his way a little bit in the last couple of years. You know, he's not with the Kessels anymore. He had half a season in Dundee. I don't think that worked out particularly well for him. So we're kind of looking at Cammy to kind of get his hockey career back on track here in Edinburgh. I think he's looking forward to that opportunity. Let's say it was only 2 years ago he was playing for the Great Britain team, you know. So I think what's important with Cammy is we've got to remember he's still young, he's still learning, but there's a lot of potential there, and there's a player that I'm hoping we can get the best out of.
And the final one that we've got is Patrick Grigors, obviously Rehard's brother, and that was one that, you know, just kind of fell into your lap when you told me. And tell us a bit more about that, how that came about.
Came right out of the blue. It came right out of the blue. He walked into the rink one day and ended up having a chat with Scotty, saying that again he was looking to sort of stay at home, wasn't looking to move away or do any traveling to play or anything like that. His work situation is that he's working somewhere. He's working in a warehouse or something. He's doing a lot of night shifts, and he's doing. I think he works as a doorman as well, sort of the weekends and things like that. So the minute Scotty told me he'd had a chat with him, I picked up the phone and called him straight away. Made it clear to him, you know, I said, look, we've got 2 imports. We've got your brother. We've got Izzy. You would be coming in as the 3rd import. And he said that was fine. He was happy. He wants to train, and he says he'll be available for us in the event of either of those two being injured or unavailable or anything like that. So again, just a no-brainer. You know, why would you not bring somebody like that in? And again, it's someone else that brings a little sort of different dimension to what we've not had in the past in Edinburgh. You know, we've got somebody that brings a little bit of physicality, somebody that likes to, you know, play the body, likes to play a sort of tough style of game. And again, like I say, it's a little bit of variation of what we've currently got or what we've currently had. And if we get the opportunity to get him in the lineup for a few games, which we probably will, then you know I think he'll bring something good to the team.
So that was just covering the new signings there. Will there be any more signings before the start of the season?
You never say never, you know. I'm happy with the group I've got. If someone else becomes available in the next week or two before the season starts, we'll explore that possibility. I think any coach that says that's their roster now complete I think it's quite a naive statement. I don't think your roster's ever complete. I think if you can ever bring in someone that's going to bring a little bit more quality or a little bit more depth or a little bit of something different, I think, you know, any coach would always look to do that. So as it stands right now, this is probably the group we're going to start with. But like I say, if someone else was to become available in the coming days or weeks, we'd certainly explore that avenue.
So it was just announced a few hours ago before we'd done this interview as well that Joe's going to be on a two-way with the Solway Sharks this year. Obviously a great opportunity for Joe to step up into the NIHL as well as playing with the Caps. What will that mean for us, caps wise and game wise? Where will Joe be playing the majority of his games?
It, it kind of came out of the blue, if truth be told. It kind of came maybe a year earlier than I thought it would. So it took me by surprise a little bit. Martin Grubb, I was down in Sheffield with Martin Grubb back in, well, it was the GB under 20 trials back in, I think it was maybe June or early July. I can't really remember. And Martin kind of pulled Joe and I aside one night in the hotel and said, we need to have a chat. And my initial impression was, oh God, what's he done now, sort of thing. But he said he'd like to continue the two-way that Edinburgh and Solway have had over the last couple of years, where we've reaped the benefits of picking up a few players, and he wanted to take Joe on a two-way. Like I say, it took me by surprise a little bit, like probably a year earlier than I was maybe anticipating it might happen. Something like this might happen. Um, but yeah, Joe's going to go on a two-way with Solway. How it's going to work out, in all honesty, I'm not 100% sure yet. I'm not sure if Martin is either. Yeah, he's going to be doing pre-season with Solway. Incidentally, two of the pre-season games are against Edinburgh. Martin and I still haven't actually spoken about what team he's going to play for when we play each other.
That was actually my next question. Who's he going to be
we,
playing with?
we've loosely discussed so far on him playing one game for each team, but it's still probably still to be confirmed. So yeah, my honest answer is I don't know. Obviously, as a coach, I want to keep him in Edinburgh as much as I can. As a father, I've maybe got a different opinion. But the good thing about Martin and I, as we've said before, we've known each other for about 40 odd years. We trust each other. We'll do what's right for this club, for his club, and for the player himself. We've just got to sit down and figure out the sort of final details, which will probably be in a much better position to do once pre-season's out the way.
So just staying on obviously the Solway theme there. Our first games of the season will be on the 31st and the 1st of September against the Sharks in a couple of exhibition games. Very tough games to kick start, but ones that you'll relish in, isn't it?
Really, I'm really looking forward to them. I think it's really important that as a club we challenge ourselves against teams from bigger and better leagues. That's why we play the games against Whitley Bay. That's why we set up the Northern Cup last year. Sorry, we didn't set it up, but that's why we took part in the Northern Cup last year to get a chance to play Blackburn home and away. And now we get the opportunity to do it again against a team in a higher league again. I think it's really important to step outside your comfort zone from time to time. I think we'll learn a lot about ourselves as players, coaches, as a club, by taking on this challenge against Solway. It's going to be difficult. There's no denying the fact it's going to be very difficult. But listen, it's going to be great for our club. Our first two games of the season are going to be played at a much higher pace than the rest of the games we're probably going to play, and it's only going to benefit us.
So the league this year, there's a wee bit of a shake-up. Obviously, the two Dundee teams have came together. The Rockets have been formed. What are you expecting for the league this season?
I expect it to be just as good as it was last year. Most teams have the same nucleus or almost the same squad as what they had last season, and we know how competitive the league was last year. I think the Dundee Rockets bring a new dimension to the league, which is only going to be good for the league. I think it's a great thing. Um, I think you've now got another team in the SNL that's going to show ambition and want to progress the SNL and take it further. They're definitely going to want to do that. They're going to have a good team. We're going to have some great battles against them this year because they're effectively taking the best players from two teams and putting them together as one. It's going to be exciting, and the rest of the league. Aberdeen have lost a couple of players, but you know what? They're still going to be strong. The Kestrels are still going to be strong, and we know that the Kestrels are always going to raise their game when they play us. Um, Kilmarnock are going to put up a fight, especially in their own rink, and they're going to cause a lot of upsets along the way, and they're going to win a lot of games along the way. And Paisley and North Ayr are going to be very competitive too, like they always are. Paisley are a difficult team to play against, and North Ayr are a young team that are going to improve year on year if they can keep that nucleus together. So I think it's got the makings of a good year again. It's a shame there's only going to be 7 teams instead of 8, but like I say, I think the Rockets are going to bring a new dimension to the SNL that's only going to be good for the league as a whole.
And this coming weekend, Lynchy, I think actually some of the boys I think they've got an optional skate tomorrow night, Thursday night. But this coming weekend, Saturday, the boys, the first training sessions, but it's also the Caps Open Day. So we're giving the Caps fans a chance to come along and watch you putting the guys through their paces. I don't know if they'll be happy with that when they're huffing and puffing right enough, but it's a great event, and I know just for the social medias and that, the fans are looking forward to it.
Listen, tomorrow night's just a little fun session. In all honesty, I doubt I'm even going to go on the ice. I'm just going to let them skate some of the rust off. Shoot some pucks and have a laugh with everybody again. Tomorrow night's going to be nothing serious. It's just about getting the wheels moving again. Saturday we've got an open day. Yeah, we're going to be going 2 sessions on the Saturday. A little bit of lunch in between. Then I meet the fans afterwards. It's got the makings of a really good day. The players probably know that Saturday's sessions on the ice are going to be pretty difficult. Because we need to get our level of fitness up quickly to go and play Solway twice, which is just a week after that. But yeah, then the Caps open day is we're going to spend a bit of time with the fans for those that come along. I think they're doing the jersey handovers, the sponsored jersey handovers from last year as well. So yeah, makings of a good day. And then I think afterwards the guys are all going to go out for a few beers after. So all the new guys get a chance to get to know everybody before we really get into the nitty gritty. So yeah, Saturday's got the makings a really good day, but Thursday's just going to be an easy one for them.
Well, just to kind of finish the interview, Lynch, the last 2 seasons, the fan base we spoke about it nearly every weekend. Every week through the season, it's grown and grown and grown, and I think what was the game at Hogmanay, close to 2,500 fans or whatever it was. But what's your message to them? Get at the start of the season. What's your message for them?
Just keep coming. Just keep coming. Bring your friends. I would, you'd love to see an average attendance of 1,500, 1,750. Is 2,000 impossible on a regular basis? Probably not. If we can keep doing what we're meant to do on the ice and keep winning hockey games, and the exposure that the club get through social media by yourself and various other channels and things like that, the players get a huge lift seeing the big crowds, not just on one side of Murrayfield now. There's big crowds on both sides of the rink, so it's great to see. The guys love it. The guys absolutely love playing in front of those crowds. It's so much more exciting than playing in some of the rinks where there's 150, 200 people there. It's great that we're doing a lot of interactive things with the fans. This meet the fans, this open day that we're having on Saturday. The skate with the Capitals that we have a couple of times a year and things like that. It's all a lot of fun, and these are the people that are making hockey fun for the guys. So just keep coming week in, week out. Buy your tickets, your season tickets, whatever it is, however it is you come along. We just want to see as many of you in the stands week in, week out to cheer us on.
Brilliant, Lynch. Well, that's the first interview of the season out the way. I think it went no more.
There's actually not one edit to be done either.
I know that's impressive, but I'm sure there'll be a few edits through the season.
Usually you ruin about 10 questions, but you've been pretty good. You've been pretty good tonight. So let's keep that. That's the starter for 10. Let's keep that going, okay?
That's it. We'll set the standard. Set the standard. But no, listen, Lindsay, all the best for this season, and as always, I'll be talking to you every week, getting your thoughts on the games and looking forward to the games at the weekend coming up as well. So we'll catch up with you on Saturday.
No problem. Cheers, mate. I'll see you on Saturday. Yeah.